Good, everybody. This has been back with another video. I hope everyone is having a great one. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday. And I hope everyone have a great Friday today. And before I get going, I just want to give glory and honor allow me to wake up and open up my eyes and everything. I'm just grateful to God for that, and I just thank God for just my health, life, and strength, the activities of my limbs, and all of those things, Father God. I'm grateful, Lord. And Father God, I just pray, Lord, I just pray, God, that all of you who see this vid have a great one. This vid is for all the sports fans, all the college basketball fans, or sports fans in general. I love college basketball. I'm not much of an NBA, but I love college basketball most definitely. And so I just want to give a shout out to all the college basketball fans. I know college football is coming to an end. I know there's still football to play, the bowl games and everything, and also the college playoffs. I want to give a shout out to the Duke Blue Devils basketball team. I mean, football team. I'm sorry, I'm going to get to the basketball team. But I want to give a shout out, give some love to the Duke football team who beat Virginia to win the ACC championship title. I'm gonna be honest. I wasn't expecting that. I wouldn't have thought that was gonna happen. And but Duke did what they needed to do, man. They did their thing and they beat Virginia, the same team that beat them not too long ago. Pretty good. Man, they got them back the second time around, and so just happy for Duke football team. Manny is doing a great job, and kudos to the football team, man. I just want to give a quick shout out, give some love and everything, and we'll see. I forgot what bowl game they have, but that's a great accomplishment for the football team. So I just want to do that. I also want to give talk about what I was here to talk about as far as the basketball team. The basketball team is doing rather well so far already, and I knew that John Scheyer said intentionally that he had set up the schedule to be a hard schedule for the team to get them ready, for the later games, like conference play, of course, post season play and everything. He wanted the schedule to be a tough one, and they did an exhibition against UCF and Tennessee, which they won both of those games. And then their very first game was against Texas. And then they ended up playing Texas, they ended up playing, as far as the top 10 teams, ended up being Kansas, ended up being Florida, Arkansas, Michigan State, and then they had, Army and some other folks. But anyway, they are 10-0 thus far on the season. I'm not going to say that I was expecting them to be 10-0 because of the teams that they have played. All of those games were tough games. There were not any blowouts per se. I think the only game that they won a comfortable margin was probably, two games, probably Kansas and Arkansas. But those games were still close. Um, the final score doesn't tell the story all the time of how the game went throughout the game. It was a competitive game. And yes, people can say, well, they didn't have Peterson and all that stuff, but we can't help that. We play who we play, and it wasn't like they was feeling sorry for themselves. They came out and they played rather competitive against it. So, they wasn't, saying, please do give us a break because Peterson is not playing. It wasn't. It's never like that. So you still got to play the game, and that team still want to beat you. So, but have won some competitive games, and Coach Scheyer he did this on purpose, as I was saying, and he wanted to see, where his team would be at this point, how his team will respond against these top 25 teams, top 10 teams, top 5 teams, or at least top 10, and how they will respond when the chips was down. I think the Florida game, they really had to respond because they were about to catch an L, and they made a play and ended up winning the game. They made a play, and they got 2 defensive stops, and that's essentially what happened. They got 2 stops, and they made a play, and that won them the game. And I love the fact that this team, they didn't panic. They didn't They didn't panic. They didn't get nervous. Well, they might have got a little nervous, but it didn't show. They showed a lot of poise on the court, pressure situations where it could have went south. They could have easily lost that game. But they kept their poise, they executed, and they won the game. And to be this early in the season with a relatively young team, I mean, this team has 1 senior that's playing, that's putting a lot of time in, 1 senior, 1 junior, some sophomores and freshmen. That's what this team has on the roster. So I really commend this group so far, going up against some quality teams. Teams that most of the teams are a lot older, quality teams, and coming out with the dubs, and unblemished. Going to Michigan State, to the Breslin Center, and beating Michigan State in their home front, in their backyard. Competitive game. They were down at half. The game went back and forth. I think there was no more than maybe 5 or 6 points separation the whole game. Nobody got down by 10 or 12 or went on these humongous runs. Nobody did. Nobody did. It was close the whole way. And that's what you want to see as a coach early in the season. That's what you want to see. You want to see your team go up against some quality competition and see how they handle, how they handle being down, how they handle having some adversity. They had some adversity at Michigan State. They got into foul trouble. All their big men got into foul trouble. They had some adversity. So what happens? Other guys step up a little bit, and that's what they're looking for. We know Cam Boozer he's the star. Everybody knows that. Everybody knows he's the best guy on the team. That's dude's best player. Everybody knows that. He is the star. But who is gonna be that other guy and that other guy that Duke can rely on to score, to make plays? Who is it gonna end up being? We know Pat Ngamba is another scoring option. He's been pretty consistent when he's touching the ball. Foster has been, I'm going to tell you, Foster's been solid. Foster has been solid. No doubt about it. He's been solid. I'm so proud of Foster. And because he's been getting a lot of flack, including myself, I'm not going to dismiss myself, but he's been getting a lot of flack on, questioning if he's can really make it happen this year, questioning his abilities, things like that. And the thing of it is that Foster has shown his abilities. He's shown he has abilities, but he hadn't shown it consistently. And I believe for the most part this year, he's been solid. He's been pretty solid. Now, one thing I will say about Foster, Foss, is that he's going to play defense. He's going to play defense. And I think he's gotten in his head that if nothing else, I'm going to play some defense. And that's going to keep me on the floor. And then hopefully, take my shots, be aggressive offensively along with it. And hey, now you got something. You really got something going now. And that's what he has to do throughout the season and the rest of the season. That's what he has to do. I'm not even really worried about his defense. The dude comes to play defense. Even when he was buried on the bench last season and he had time to come in, he always showed defensive effort, if nothing else. I think he really takes pride in playing tough defense. I really do. I think he takes pride in that. Now, we want to see Foster become more consistent on the offensive end. And that's what Duke needs. He doesn't, nothing astronomical. Nothing astronomical. If Foss average around 8 to 12 points a game, that would be huge. That would be huge. Nothing astronomical. Because when you got a guy that's averaging about 20 some points a game, then, if he averages, 8 to 12, 13 points a game, somewhere around in there, that's huge. That's a whole, that you're talking about a night and day from last year. That would be huge. That would be huge for Seahawks. But it'd be huge for Duke. Other guy that I want to see a little bit more, he's gotten better on defense, and that's Showtime. I want to see a little bit more from him because he's capable. I think he can average between 12 and 15. But at the minimum, around what I said about Seafalls, between 10 and 14 or somewhere around in there from Isaiah, from Showtime, we should be able to get that. We should be able to get that, And if we can do that, that'll be awesome. See who's on. Joe Giano, how you doing? And what's going on? Irfavadi, how's it going? Appreciate you guys chiming in. Subscribe if you haven't. Like, share, comment. Who's your college team? Yo, Kerwin, Perry, what's going on? What's going on, you guys? Appreciate you chiming in. Hope that you're make sure you hit the like button for me, and hope your Friday is going good. I hope you have an awesome and blessed Friday today. I'm just talking a little bit of hoops on today. I have a little bit of time, and I'm out and about, but I just want to talk a little bit about Duke basketball, and I think that Duke is been impressive. I think they've been impressive thus far, being at 10-0 and playing the teams that they have played, top 25 teams. They've beaten. Let me see, top 25 at the time anyway. Kansas, Arkansas, Florida, Michigan State. Who else? And in the exhibition, they played Tennessee. I think they're 10-0, but yeah, they played. They played 10. At least 4. Look, laughing at this lady. She had the Jason mask on. They've beaten, some really good teams, and I'm just really happy for these guys. It's still early, you know. They have some good strengths and they have some weaknesses, and to me, the defense is ahead of the offense right now. The defense is ahead of the offense right now, and but the offense will catch up. They were the same way last year. What I think, John Scheyer and the staff, their first priority when it comes to the teams in the beginning, from the jump, is to preach defense. And even like when John is talking to these guys, even when the offense is kind of stagnant a little bit, he always go right back to the defense. You know, it's the our defense is gonna carry us. Our defense is gonna do this. Our defense is gonna do that. He always emphasizes defense, and that's the reason why they're rated really high. With Kim Palm and all that stuff, all this analytic stuff. I'm not really an analytic type of person, but that's the reason why they're rated really high already. You know, they're not the only team. There's some other really good defensive teams, but the bottom line is that they're gonna emphasize defense probably even before the offense. Now I know you need offense, but they're gonna emphasize defense, and that's what's been. I think John Scheyer, that's what's been his staple, is that we're gonna be good defensively. You know, we're gonna get stops. We're gonna make it hard for teams, and I'm gonna tell you, against Florida, Duke was on the ropes. Duke was on the ropes, and they won that game not because of offense. They made a big play on the offensive end, but they won that game because of defense. I mean, they won that game because of defense. Because they did make an offensive play, which was huge, but they made two defensive stops, because Florida still had a chance to come back again and score again and win the game. Florida had two more chances, and Duke was able to stop them both times to seal the game. So you can call it the way you want it, that, well, Duke, man, they barely won. Well, they still won. Nobody cares nobody cares how much you won when it's all said and done. Did you win? And they got the dub. They played Florida, who won the national championship. Now, we know that they don't have the same team, you know, but these guys are still good. you know, they weren't going into Cameron just to lose on purpose. They still have a good team. They may be going through their little, rough patches right now, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Florida in the thick of things down the road. You know, any of the teams that Duke has beaten, for the most part, especially the teams in the top 25, I wouldn't be surprised seeing those teams doing some things in their conferences and even in the postseason. I wouldn't be surprised. I really wouldn't. I would not be surprised. So I'm very impressed with Duke. I'm happy for those guys. They're on a break, due to exams, all that. They'll be back at it next Tuesday, and then next Tuesday and Saturday, I believe. They got another top 25 team, Texas Tech. So John Scheyer wasn't playing around when he was doing the schedule, man. That would be the fifth top 25 team, non-conference wise, that Duke will be playing. But guess what? Duke is still not finished. In February, the latter part of February, they're going to be playing Michigan, who is right now number 2, and they honestly they're looking like the most dominant team right now in the nation. I mean, they just beating up everybody. I mean, no close games. Nothing close. I mean, there may be, I'm saying, like, the end result, they're winning by at least 20 or somewhere around in there. So so Duke got them on the schedule. So John Scheyer was not playing around when it came to scheduling these guys and who he wanted them to face before the conference kicked off. Well, the conference would kick off after the Texas Tech actually, but still, look how many top 25 teams that would have have played. By that time, they played Texas Tech, Michigan State, Arkansas, Florida. Um, who else? Feel like feel like I'm missing somebody. See, Florida. Let me see. Let me see. Uh, Arkansas, Florida, Michigan State. Who am I missing? I'm missing somebody. Anyway, um, I mean, what a heck of a non-conference schedule, you know. And I don't think Duke has ever had a non-conference schedule like this that I can remember. I don't think Coach K even scheduled like this before, you know. So I mean, I think when it's all said and done, you know, and even if you know um, they take a L against Texas Tech or Michigan down the road or whatever, or even in the conference, I don't see this team taking too many L's. I really don't. Now they got to get better. You know, offensively they got to get better. Some guys got to establish themselves, start to establish themselves to help out Boozer. Boozer's gonna be Boozer. He's just that good. You know, it's gonna be the other guys. It's gonna be the Cephals. It's gonna be the Isaiahs. It's gonna be the SARs, the Haminians. It's gonna be all of them having their day, having their time to have a big game. And it could be. I don't see anything wrong with. I mean, you want to have some consistency for the most part. You know, you know. I do. I think that if we can have the consistency with Pat, with Seafalls, with Showtime, you know, at least, and then you sprinkle in Sar and Herminia and Caden Boozer and Malik, you know, you should be pretty good, you know, for the most part. So, but anyway, thanks for everybody for chiming in. I need to get some things done today, and but I hope everyone have a great Friday, a blessed weekend, and everything. Hope that I was just kind of rambling, as you can tell, but I hope that you enjoy the content and everything, and put in who's your basketball team, your college team, or NBA, or whoever, in the comments. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Thanks for chiming in again. Have a blessed one. Peace, everybody.